Al-Isra and Al-Miraj, the miraculous night journey from Mecca to the farthest mosque in Jerusalem, and the ascent through the spheres of heavens. The last days of the Meccan phase of the Prophet's life are noted for alternate fortunes, ranging between two extremes, gradual success and continual persecution. However, glimpses of propitious lights were looming on the distant horizon, to ultimately materialize in the event of the Prophet's night journey to Jerusalem, and then ascension through the spheres of the heavens. As for its exact date, it is still controversial, and no common concept has been reached. However, the majority of jurists is in favor of a date between 12 months. Prior to migration to Medina, the following is an epitome of the details of that miraculous event, narrated on the authority of Ibn al-Qayyim. The Messenger of Allah was carried in body from the sacred mosque in Mecca to the distant mosque in Jerusalem on a horse called Al-Buraq, in the company of Gabriel. The archangel there he alighted, tethered the horse to a ring in the gate of the mosque, and led the prophets in prayer. After that, Gabriel took him to the heavens and the same horse. When they reached the first heaven, Gabriel asked the guardian angel to open the door of heaven. It was opened, and he saw Adam, the progenitor of mankind. The Prophet saluted him, and the other welcomed him, and expressed his faith in Muhammad's prophethood. He saw the souls of martyrs on his right and those of the wretched on his left. Gabriel then ascended with the Prophet to the second heaven, asked for opening the gate, and there he saw and saluted John, son of Zachariah, Yahya bin Zachariah, and Jesus, son of Mary. They returned the salutation. Welcomed him, and expressed their faith in his prophethood. Then they reached the third heaven, where they saw Joseph, and saluted him. The latter welcomed the Prophet and expressed faith in his prophethood. The Prophet, in the company of Gabriel, then reached the fourth heaven, where he met the Prophet Enoch Idris, and saluted him. Prophet Enoch returned the salutation and expressed faith in his prophethood. Then he was carried to the fifth heaven, where he met the Prophet Harun, and saluted him. The latter returned the salutation and expressed faith in his prophethood. In the sixth heaven, he met Moses. And saluted him. The latter returned the salutation and expressed faith in his prophethood. Muhammad, on leaving, he saw that Moses began to weep. He asked about the reason. Moses answered that he was weeping because he witnessed a man sent after him as a messenger, Muhammad. He was able to lead more of his people to the paradise than he himself did. Then Prophet Muhammad reached the seventh heaven and met Abraham and saluted him. The latter returned the salutation and expressed faith in his prophethood. Then he was carried to Sidratul Muntaha, the remotest lote tree, and was shown Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, the much frequented house, which is like the Kaaba, sacred house, encompassed daily by 70,000 angels. 70,000 angels, so that the angels who once encompassed it would not have their turn again till the resurrection. He was then presented to the divine presence and experienced the thrill of witnessing the divine glory and manifestation at the closest possible propinquity. There the Lord revealed unto his servant that which he revealed, and ordained 50 daily prayers for him. On his return he spoke to Moses that his followers had been enjoined to pray 50 times a day. Moses, addressing the prophet, said, "Your followers cannot perform so many prayers. Go back to your Lord and ask for a remission in number." The prophet turned to Gabriel as if holding counsel with him. Gabriel nodded, "Yes, if you desire," and ascended with him to the presence of Allah. The Almighty Allah, glory is to him, made a reduction of 10 prayers. He then descended and reported that to Moses, who again urged him to request for a further reduction. Muhammad once more begged his Lord to reduce the number still further. He went again and again in the presence of Allah and the suggestion of Moses for reduction in the number of prayers till these were reduced to 5 only. Moses again asked him to implore for more reduction, but he said, "I feel ashamed now of repeatedly asking my Lord for reduction. I accept and resign to his will." When Muhammad went farther, a caller was heard, saying, "I have imposed my ordinance and alleviated the burden of my servants." There is, however, some difference as regards the issue whether the Prophet saw Allah with his physical eye or not. Some interpreters say that seeing Allah with his naked eyes was not confirmed. Ibn, on the other hand, says that the word ruya, as used in the Noble Quran, signifies the observation with the help of the eye. In Surah An-Najm chapter, the star, we read, "Then he approached and came closer." Here he refers to Archangel Gabriel, and this context is completely different from that in the prophetic tradition of Isra and Miraj, where the approach relates to that of the Lord. Glory is to him. Some significant suggestive incidents feature the night journey of the Prophet, of which we could mention. The Prophet's breast was cleft by Gabriel, his heart extracted and washed with the water of Zamzam, a sacred spring in Mecca. In the same context, there were brought to him 2 gold vessels. There was milk in one, while the other was full of wine. He was asked to choose either of them, so he selected the vessel containing milk and drank it. He, the angel, said, "You have been guided on Al-Fitra, or you have attained Al-Fitra. Had you selected wine, your nation would have been misled." It is a symbolic way of saying that good and evil in the form of milk and wine were brought before the Prophet, and he instinctively made a choice for the good. It is very difficult to render the Arabic term fitra into English. It denotes the original constitution or disposition with which a child comes into this world, or contrasted with qualities or inclinations acquired during life. Besides, it refers to the spiritual inclination inherent in man in his unspoilt state. The Prophet told that he saw 2 manifest rivers, the Nile of the Euphrates and 2 hidden ones. It appears that the 2 manifest rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates, symbolically describe the area in whose fertile valleys Muhammad's message will settle, and the people there whereof will always remain the adherent bearers of Islam, that will